Reverend Dr. Michael Gerd. And those daily guides gave me some inspiration and resources for my talk today. Ricky Bayer says, love judges not, and love renews. Love is a healer, and love loves to love, and will keep on being love. This is its holy way. Have you ever noticed how good it feels to love? How right it feels? Well, I recently attended a New Thought conference in Nairobi, Kenya. There were between 100 and 150 people present, and I think out of those I had met 8 or 10 beforehand. The rest I've never met before, at least not in this lifetime. So those 100 to 150 people radiated so much love and joy, which opened my heart to a field of deepest, deepest connection, forgetting who is giving and who is receiving. It was just pure beingness, an amazing feeling of oneness, feeling present in the here and now. There was no judgment, just letting go and embracing each and everyone, regardless of race, gender, age, religious affiliations, sexual orientations, although that is still a taboo in Kenya. I felt being reminded of an idea I was introduced to in my early youth, to become a global citizen. And I felt as one member of the whole global community while I was there. It was really such a great, great feeling. I felt so elated and I was almost walking on clouds. And when I came home after 3 days, Gunnar said to me, "Now it's time you come down to the ground again," because I was so totally elated. I was so filled with love and joy. It was absolutely magnificent. And I can just relive it again when I just think about it. It just gives me quite a good feeling, actually. So it was just like coming home to a community which is loving and caring and, just great. In the Bible, we are told that we are made in the image and likeness of God, and that God is love. Therefore, be love. That is who you truly, truly are. Love loves to love. Now, what about loving what is? According to Michael Bernard Beckwith, there are 4 kinds of pain in this life. Number 1, resistance. Number 2, resistance. Number 3, resistance. And number 4, guess what? Resistance. That's very much to the point, isn't it? What we resist persists. Whenever I want something to be different than it is, then I feel some discomfort or pain over it. And that can be confusing to a metaphysician, because we teach that we can change conditions through the power of mind. The question arises, why can't I just change all the conditions I don't want, conditions I don't like, conditions I don't agree with? Why can't I just create a world that is tailor-made to my ideas and preferences? Well, is there perhaps a possibility that you have done that already? What if the somehow painful relationships I had with my parents became the birthplace of my compassion? Because at one stage in my life, I had a deep, deep rift with my parents, and it really hurt me very much. There was lots of misunderstanding of my lifestyle, which they couldn't accept. And anyway, it was really a tough time. And eventually I thought about it. I said, well, what would I do if I were in their situation? How would I have reacted? And I started all of a sudden feeling love for them and compassion, because they couldn't react differently, because it was all they knew. They couldn't understand my way of life, because I had outgrown living in a small town where everybody knows everybody. I like the big city like Berlin, and I moved to South Africa. For me, life was totally different. I didn't have to look for neighbors to give me approval. I didn't need that, but my parents needed that. So I found compassion for them, and I'm very glad I did, because it also gave me compassion for other people who were in similar situations than I was. So maybe you struggle to earn a decent living. Your struggle for decent living had become a wake-up call to study and to learn to apply spiritual principles of abundance and flow, and trusting the universe, the one power. Because quite often we struggle in something, then we don't really find any way out until we see there's a deeper purpose. And what about those troublesome and difficult people around you and in the whole world, especially in certain nations or certain countries? Someone once said that if you figured out how to do it, you could have the bestseller of all times called Change Their Thinking, Change Your Life. Change their thinking, change your life. I just love it. But we can't do that. And most probably we're not meant to. When we drop our resistance to what is, we open the possibility that we might be the ones needing change. When we first of all accept what is and allow new and different possibilities to emerge, then Spirit can move us, change us, use us to reveal the divine pattern. But first, we have to admit that in our human egocentric mind, we actually don't know how to run the universe. And I still don't know, after all those years of studying. For me, loving what is a call for unconditional love. And that unconditional love refers to others just as much as it does to me. I am also worthy of unconditional love, and so are you, each and every one of you. Although it might often be difficult or appear to be impossible, we can always make another attempt to love unconditionally, and another attempt, and another. Love is patient, and so is unconditional love. After each so-called failure, let's remember to love ourselves for having made the attempt. Let's be gentle to ourselves. Now, am I supposed to love a murderer, a child molester? Even though I don't condone the criminal act as such, I still need to remind myself that the true part of that person is nevertheless, in his or her essence, a pure, indestructible spirit, perfect, whole, and complete. So there are opportunities to practice unconditional love. It's not easy, I'm not saying that, but it's a continuous way. And Jesus said about forgiveness, how often? 70 times 7. And that's quite came to mind when I thought about it, about unconditional love. So it's a continuous task, a continuous almost effort to really love unconditionally, leave behind all the barriers we might have about ourselves and about other people. Why do they do this, or why didn't they do that? So you've heard that it was said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I say to you that you should not resist evil, but whoever strikes you on your right cheek, turn to him the other also. That is from the Bible, Matthew 5:38 and 39. I'm sure you've noticed that our public conversations have gotten heated, very heated, be it on TV, social media, public discussions, etc. As far as I can see, it's in America, in South Africa, Great Britain, and I think elsewhere too. That bitter, angry, hateful speech seems to have become acceptable in some quarters. It just seems to be the way to deal with each other, so full of hatred and so full of negativity and mudslinging. I really find it very uncomfortable. And I must say, I'm not okay with that. I think we can disagree, and we will disagree, but at least let us be respectful. I think this is one of the hardest things we face here in human life on earth. We come from the absolute spiritual truth that there's only one life, and that life is God, and that every individual is an expression of God. spirit, or by whatever name. We are one. And when someone attacks us personally, what we want to do is reciprocate. Let's not do that. Because if we do, we put ourselves on the same level of ignorance. Let's rather stay in the consciousness of love. Jesus taught this about 2,000 years ago. He understood that when we return attack for attack, we have taken ourselves out of oneness and planted our consciousness in duality. Turning the other cheek does not mean that we remain open to attack. However, sometimes the most loving thing we can do is to turn and to walk away, to remove ourselves from the conversation, at least for now. I know for certain that love will lead us if we are willing. Love loves to love. I invite you to do a little exercise together with me. Just sit comfortably, and I suggest you close your eyes. Just let's take a moment to turn within to our center of stillness and peace. And take a few moments to examine your life and see if there's someone who has made a difference in the quality of your life. Someone who has made a difference in the quality of your life. And then give them some love in your thoughts. And let them know telepathically how they have affected you and how important they are to you. That simple gesture will add richness to the lives of both of you. And now be aware of your body again. And when you feel ready, gently open your eyes. Let me end with the following quote from an unknown source, which I just saw this afternoon. Love is not a relationship with someone. Love is a way of life with everything.